In this tutorial, we're going to learn about heat maps. In heat maps, it is a kind of a glowy looking thing dependent on the quantity of points in a given area. And so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna get our data from police data in London, and so you're gonna download that here in this CSV file. Okay. So we're going to start then. Once you've got that in the appropriate folder, make sure you get it into your GIS folder. We're going to start by opening up QGIS, and then we are going to start by going into this XYZ tile in the browser. And you can open that up, and you're going to see OpenStreetMap. We've used this before in other labs. So just click and then drag and then let go, and it should pop up in your screen there. And we've got that here. Now what we want to do is bring in that CSV file that we downloaded earlier. And so we're going to open that up. We can just click right here, Open Data Source. And you're going to click on the delimited text right here, okay? Then you're going to go over to your three dots in the browser. I've got my street data right there, 2019-02, street, Surrey Street. I'm going to click Open. It should auto-populate most things that you need. It is a CSV file format, so that we want to make sure that's correct. The first time I did this, this actually was at a 1, and it was not showing things right down here. So make sure the number of header lines to discard is 0, that your first record has field names in it, and detect field types. Okay, and then we can go down here to geometry definition. The X field should be the field in the database should be longitude, and the Y field should be latitude. And then we just want to make sure our geometry is correct. So 4326 WGS 84 should all be accurate. And then you can just click Add and close. And now we've got, if we zoom in on London, we can see that we've got a whole bunch. So just a reminder on zooming, hopefully you know by now you can use the roller on your mouse to zoom in, or you can go up here to the zoom selection and use that as well. So these are crimes, and we're going to make a heat map out of these things. So if you right click and look at your attribute table, you can see all of these different crimes that are listed here on this list. Okay, so if we look at our instructions, we've gone through steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I believe we are on 5. Now we're going to do a heat map. Okay, and so what we're going to do is it says select heat map under layer styling. So let's do that. Let's go back to QGIS, and we're going to over here in our styling panel, we're going to click on that. Our styling panel came over here, and then what we're going to do is, so we're going to make sure that this is the street, 2019 Surrey Street's in the right spot. We're there. We're going to go to heat map now. And boom. Okay. All right. So we've done what we're supposed to do there. Now let's look at the instructions heat map. Moving on to 7, it looks right. We want it to be in the red, so let's go back to our layer here, and we are just going, we clicked on that little down arrow, and I'm going to click on reds. And there we go. Okay, so back to step 7. We're going to look at the radius. We want it to be 5,000 map units, so we're going to change that. So we'll go to map units. Sorry, let me just look at that radius. So this is under radius. So 5,000. Okay, and we're going going to say map units. Okay. All right. So back to our instructions. And then we want to just look at, make sure EPS SG 3857 is what they've got there. Let's just 3857. All right, so we're good. Okay. Step 9, layer rendering and opacity. We want it to be at 60% so that we can see the map underneath it. So we're going to change this to 60%. And now we can kind of see what's underneath it there. Great. Okay. So we're done with number 10. Now what we're going to do is we're going to right click on our layer and then open our attribute table again. Attribute table. We've done that. Okay. And then our instructions want us to look at the crime type. Okay. It says you will see a field called crime type. We can use these to categorize different crimes and assign higher weight or to more violent crimes. Okay. So let's go down here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click on this open field calculator in our open field calculator. We've done that. We see that we've got a calculator here similar to what we've used throughout the semester. And then we're going to take this information. We can just copy and paste it. But what you're seeing here is we're going to look at the case, and then it's going to start looking for things when it's violence. It's going to give it a 10. When the type is criminal, it's going to give it a 5. And everything else is just going to get a value of 1. So, and this is in the expression case. So let's go back to this, and we're just going to paste that right in there. Okay? And hit return. And then we can click OK. So one thing we forgot to do is make sure our output field name is weight. We've got a whole number integer, and the field length is 10. So let's make sure we've got that. So weight. And I believe it was an integer. Oh, that was right? Let's go back and look. Yeah, it said integer. Okay. And we're at 10. Okay, so now we're good. Okay. And we've got a preview down here of 10, so that should be right where we want to be. So let's click OK. And we did that. And so if we shrink that down and look at QGIS, things should look a tad bit different. It looks like we got some violent crimes down in this area, and some less violent crimes up in this area. Okay, so interesting. Okay. So now we're on to step 14. Yeah, if you went on to the attribute table and looked, you'll see that the weight is assigned a column at the very end. And so you can totally move on. You can change the ramp color to weight. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So that should be, double check something here. Weight points. Oh, we've got to change that first. So right here, if we select this, we scroll all the way down, we can scroll to that. Now it is using those weighted values that we just looked at. Okay. Okay. So we've applied that. We are going to close the layer styling and move on to the toolbox. Okay. So let's go back to QGIS. Sorry. QGIS, and let's close this out. We are going to want this. Let's open up our toolbox. Okay, we've got our toolbox. In our instructions, we're going to our next instructions. I went a little too far. We're going to reproject this layer. What does reprojecting means? Well, you remember that we've got these projections that we use for how the map bends around the Earth, right? Okay, so we're going to reproject it for something else. So that's what we're going to do. It looks like they would like us to go to this EPSG 27700 and the national grid. So this is a projection that is specifically good for Great Britain. Okay, so let's go to project. Reproject. I should put reproject. There we go. Reproject, and we're going to use vector reproject layer. So this one right here. So under vector reproject layer, we're going to use that one. And so we are using our street data. So we've got that data in there, and we're going to change this to what we want, but it doesn't show up down here what we want. So what we got to do is go over here to this icon, click on it, and then we are going to type in the field I'm going to put 0222700 right in there, and look at there it is right down there. So I just put in 27,700 and our desired projection showed up, and you can see it's designed specifically for that particular country. And then we can click run. We clicked run, and so it made it even more precise because it's wrapped and specifically for Great Britain. So that's great. Okay. So then we are going to, we've got a reproject. We're going to get rid of these. We got rid of that. Okay. And then we are going to then do heat map, kernel density estimation. So this is another way to do it. Okay, reprojected. We're going to change this to 5,000. Okay. And so we're going to click on advance, and we're going to do weight. We're going to put weight in there. Okay. We've already calculated the weight, so we're good. Wait a minute. Weight. Both weight? No, nothing should be in this top one. Okay. Weight from field. Okay, optional. We got that. And I think we are good. We can click run. oops, it didn't like something. Execution failed. So it did not like something I did. So I'm going to close that out just real quick. Okay, so let's just make sure that I've got everything here. Weight needs to be in there. It is. So I'm just double checking stuff. We've reprojected it. We've got street map. Okay. Everything looks good. We've got heat map density. So I'm going to reproject that. That's the reprojected 2700. Okay. And then 5000. And then I need to change this. This is one thing I did not do, so maybe this was the problem. We shall see. And then we've got to change this to weight. Now let's try run. So it's taking a second. Looks like when it does this kind of thing, you're smiling, because if it's doing this and it didn't just go straight to error, then it probably won't go to error. And so you've done something right usually. And so I'm happy that we got it to work. And boom, heat map. Let's see what the heat map looks like. There it is. So there's our heat map. Okay, our very special heat map. And we've got an output up here. And when it's processed, a new layer named, it named it heat map. The instructions say output, but we didn't tell it to name it output. So that's what it got labeled. And it's in a single gray layer, okay? So we're again gonna change that to red. So we'll come over here and we will open up our symbology, move my face out of the way, and let's change that to linear. Do we have linear on here? Oh, we're going to go to a pseudo color layer. Boom, right there. Okay, woo, pretty. And it's on linear, and we're going to change this to red. There we go. And so now we've got this. Now, obviously, it's over the city. It's not very attractive that way. We, again, probably want to make this a little bit transparent. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm scrolling down here. I'm looking for opacity, see if it's a strength. Is that it? Nope. Oh, there's probably a button here that I have forgotten about. Continuous, classify, legend settings, color ramp. I will pause this and come back. So making this opaque is a little bit different and even potentially a little more challenging. But obviously we don't want to leave it like this because we can't see the map behind it. So it doesn't make any sense. So there are things that you can do that kind of do the whole thing. I don't like any of these in particular. So this is a blending mode where it blends these different colors in a different way. And you can try a couple of them. That's not too bad right there. Multiply, you can kind of see where they're at. I actually might go with something like that. That would work just fine. And so, yeah, so you could do that. The other thing that you potentially could do is actually change each one of these. So if you click on the individual colors, you can, in each of the colors, you could go in here and scroll down and change them and make them a bit more opaque if you wanted. Let's go backwards and show you how that looks. Let me get this off of the multiply mode and put it back on the normal. So if I went to this level and then went down here, I could make this a little more opaque. And so the problem is you would have to do that on every single color when you got back here. All these colors would then need to be opaque. So if I'd go back down, click on that, well, I can kind of see through it now, right? And I would have to do that for each one. And that's fine too. However you make it work is good. So that's one way to do it. Again, I actually didn't mind the multiply one, so we can try that, the blending mode. That works pretty well, and I kind of like that, and it was simple, right? So however you want to do it to make it look good, now you're going to do what we usually do for turn in for this assignment. You are going to create a map with a title, a legend, a north arrow, and a scale bar, and then you'll be done, okay? So please do so. I'm going to let you guys do that this time. So if you need to figure out how to do that, you might have to go back and look at previous lectures or labs to see how to make the PDF, okay? So I'm going to let you do that, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.